$5,000 each. And with that, we're underway. Starting things off, we have a heart piece inside Link's house, and Peach are gonna go check the sanctuary, and only our sanctuary map. We have our initial map check. We have a Hera as a pendant and a 5-6 on us.
5-6 on Eastern and a crystal on Desert, and it looked like green pendant up on Hera, if I'm not mistaken.
It was actually a blue. It was actually a regular pendant, not a green.
Oh, was it a regular pendant? Okay.
Yeah. And Koi is gonna go straight for the Uncle as well as Adium's Koi Prowler. And Peach are gonna head up to the top. We start off with a mirror right out of the gate in the secret chest in that little alcove outside Hyrule Castle, and 20 rupees on the Uncle. Peach are heading immediately for Lumberjack Cave.
Yep, he's looking to see if he's got to do Aga, and it looks like it's just 50 rupees, so he will not be planning to do Aga yet.
At the moment, we're free from Aga. It really depends on those locations right out of the gate. Boy, heading also to the sanctuary, gonna be probably checking up that lumberjack spot, and only a piece of heart on the mushroom spot as Peach drops down to the thieves' hideout. And our red potion, so we have Sick Kid available. That's one extra check in Kakariko that Peach and all the other runners will be doing.
And it's always good when you see those early, so you don't have to consider how am I going to route that in later. Especially when you're looking for stuff like Sick Kid, or if you're really lucky, you can get an early flute and kind of knock out Kakariko all at once.
Definitely. Peach actually going to drop down south of Kakariko just to farm up some bombs and get some more bombs later on, because we don't have a whole lot of rupees here. So Peach going to do farm this bomb farming just so that way he will have bombs for the remaining checks in Kakariko.
Absolutely, yeah. You need 4 bombs to do the checks in Kakariko, and I'm sorry, 3 bombs to do the checks, and then 1 if you want to open the bomb hut.
Yeah, and Peachrain's gonna be. He does have a bomb, so he's gonna open up that chest immediately, and we're gonna have access to the race game right now as Chloe has started the Kakariko checks, and Eddie, I'm gonna go straight for the well instead of Blind's hut. We have 20 rupees in Blind's hut. We have 3 bombs. We are guaranteed that Moon
Pearl in the well. That is huge. We could be seeing really early Dark World here.
Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Moon Pearl on the well, and now we're gonna check the bomb chest here. The bomb well. We have our hammer. Very excellent.
That's 2 pieces. Now all we need is a glove.
Yeah, that glove will be very, very interesting to see. Eddie, I'm going to check the Sick Kid, and there's 100 rupees. So we have money to check the bottle vendor, rather. Going to the back of the tavern, and Peach going to check out those chickens in the chicken hut. 20 rupees in the back of the tavern. I'm actually going to be waiting a little bit. It's going to be actually bomb the one bomb house. That way he will have some more bombs. Luckily, he will be getting some extra bombs later on through the Blind's hut. But everyone else, though, Eddie and McCoy buys bombs. It's a really understandable play that's not too crazy of a play to make. P-Train makes the more methodical play and does that. We have
magic powder there on bottle vendor for Prower.
And that does add another check to our Kakariko checks, and that is in the form of the magic bat.
Yeah, so it looks like we're getting a lot of our Kakariko checks out of the way very quickly here. The only thing really left that they can't access yet in Lightside Kakariko is the goose. So they don't have to worry too much about having to come back here to route anything besides that, which is in and of itself a good thing.
we immediately going to be checking that magic bat because of the fact that we have a hammer very accessible in the Sphere 1 checks. And subsequently, this magic bat check is in amongst our Sphere 1 checks. So this will be pretty quick. We have plenty of we have magic to do it, and magic bat is, once this pretty long and drawn out animation plays, we're going to be receiving a piece of heart.
So a bit of a red herring there for the magic powder.
Hey, we do. This does help us though. We do have a safety whenever we need to powder anti-fairies and bunny beams. When we get a bug net, we will have the ability to catch fairies and put them in bottles.
And we see everyone just kind of cleaning up each other's checks right now in CAC. No one has started the South Shore checks yet, so we haven't seen like Mini Moldorm, which is 5 items. Also, we haven't seen Dam either.
Yeah, which is 7, and then we have Ice Rock Cave for a total of 8.
Plus, they could also do Aginas, which I know most runners won't route until they get boots or have to go to desert.
Yeah, and since we don't have a book, we don't have a reason to go there just yet, and there's nothing in the library. Chloe is actually heading for the self-sort checks right now as we speak, and Eddie, I'm going to check the race game. So we have not seen that yet. 20 rupees inside the dam and 20 rupees on the race game. So now Chloe is going to check that sunken treasure using the mirror to make this one dam check a lot more quicker due to that block erase bug, the block erase glitch. By spamming the mirror and pushing a block, the block will just be erased as you're menuing, as you're pressing the mirror button.
Yep, and our dam, it looks like, had just validation rupee there underneath the water, so nothing amazing. As we see Chloe open up Mini Moldorm Cave.
It's a very early one. I'm going to be using the bombs as our main method of attack here. Getting the double here from Chloe. And this is actually a really smooth bomb throw from this Mini Moldorm. We have ourselves our gloves. So we have Dark World access, 3 bombs, a piece of hearts, 10 arrows, and another piece of hearts. So that is, in less than 10 minutes, we have our Dark World access very, very quick. It's a pretty quick one, especially that now that we had two of our main progressions here. We're gonna have those Sphere 2 checks from this Dark World alone. And P-Train heading straight for the desert area, which is a very interesting play. And Koi heading for the escape sequence. And Chloe is actually heading for the back of escape. So we're gonna have 2 sides of the coin here. And Cane of Samaria on the desert ledge. That is very huge, and this will be a nice mental note for later on.
Absolutely. So now now P-Train's actually looking for either a second glove and flute to get access to that, or the book.
Chloe also found the boots from the back of Escape, and our blue boomerang from Agnes Cave. And actually, Eddie, I'm heading straight into the Dark World, will be the first player to do so. And it looks like we're heading for a Hype Cave check here from Edium. And we're going to also get a subsequent map check from the Dark World here, hopefully. And we have a pendant on Turtle Rock, and our green pendant is also inside Swamp Palace. And apparently Meyer, I saw, was a 5-6.
Yep, Meyer was the other 5-6.
And Eddie, I'm now going to go and inside Hive Cave. My thoughts are it's going to be your average Hive Cave, starting with 20 rupees. And 3 bombs. Cane of Burna, all right. 20 rupees and 10 arrows. Yeah. Your average Hive Cave.
Yep, every type cave nowadays, 2 out of 10 at best.
I mean, honestly, with the Burna, if we had access to the mountain, we would be able to do Spike Cave, but since we are only 4 hearts, yeah, very unlikely we're gonna be seeing that just yet. But Koi heading for the Dark Crust, which I believe P-Train has already done.
I don't remember seeing him do it, but I guess, I mean, I could have missed it too. Very possible. Same time, we do see P-Train now headed for Ice Rod Cave. We see what's back there.
Yep, and Eddie found pretty much nothing on Stumpy, but also gonna check Cave 45 as well. Having 2 checks of 1 here from these runners. We have 50 rupees and 3 bombs in Ice Rod Cave and Cave 45 respectively. Gonna stop in there for a little bit more just to have some more hearts. Since Thieves Town is very accessible, is very active at the moment, I don't know. I honestly would wait. With 4 hearts in green mail, it is not nice. I know this firsthand. It is a hard dungeon to clear when you have 4 hearts in green mail, and only 5 rupees on the pyramid ledge. As Eddie M is also going to check the dig game. P-Train has opted to do a fake flipper to check just only the waterfall fairy and just see what is on that Zora ledge, and Chloe takes a death in the overworld of the Dark World. That is never nice when you have to deal with a death, especially when you have 4 hearts and green mail and a 6-pack of bombs from the waterfall fairy.
We also saw a 3-pack of bombs from the digging game as well. That Etienne did. And it looks like now he's headed into Village of Outcasts, by the way he's going. And he's probably going to get all his checks done there. We may see him do the 4-heart green mail Brian Thieves Town here.
And P-Train did see a rod on top of Lake Hylia Island. I believe that was the fire rod. And we have our first bow that is locked behind the flippers from the man underneath the bridge.
Yes, that was a fire rod on Lake Hylia there.
Yep, I can pretty much confirm that was the fire rod, and actually Chloe immediately heading for Skull Woods. I see. It's early. It's all right if you go in here first and foremost. I mean, you don't ever want to go into Thieves Town with only 4 hearts and green mail. It is not nice. So P-Train actually is going for Eastern Palace. This is out of logic because of the fact that he fake flippered. So checking Sahajrah's closet, we know about the green pendant. Actually, for P-Train, he does not know about this either. So he's going to check about the green pendant, and we know that is confirmed that Swamp Houses are green pendant, with a shield, shovel, and 10 arrows from Sahajrah's closet, and Chloe heading to the now no longer guaranteed locked pinball room and getting a heart container from it.
Interesting. I must have missed that logic update. Why is that no longer a key anymore?
Now, it's not to say that the pinball room will have a key. It's not. It's now that the pinball room will never have a guaranteed key. So that means we have a heart piece. Like you can have an item here. We have a dungeon item, whatever. You can still have a key, but it's no longer is it a guaranteed small key.
Yeah, why would it no longer be a guaranteed small key? Because if you drop in there first, wouldn't it still cause a soft lock if it's not a small key?
I think in cases where it would, by the way, there's the flippers inside Eastern Palace, so that does bring that bow back into logic. So I think how it is that also blue potion on the Bumper Cave. But if in the event that if the items are laid out in a way where you can't progress until you have you can't progress through the dungeon, it will give you a small key. But if there's a case where you have plenty of keys to do Swamp Palette, like do the pinball room without being soft locked, it will give you a dungeon item or an item, as far as I can see it.
Okay, so it will. What'll happen is if you drop in there, it'll be a small key. Wait.
It's hard to explain. I don't know him personally myself. That's just a educated guess on what it could potentially be. So, not only that the fire rod with the flippers in hand and our mirror available, that does bring that fire rod into logic. That is now available for P-Train once he gets that mirror, which we know is in the dam, unless we missed it for whatever reason. Clearly checking out the Graveyard Ledge, only 10 arrows, and there was nothing of importance in King's Tomb either.
Okay, so Chad is telling us that now it is possible to be soft locked in Skullwoods. Dropping in is the risk. So it's possible that you can drop in and then end up soft locked because of that.
Yeah, which would result in a save and quit if you decided to drop. So really depends on what happens. But now, since that no longer is a guaranteed key, you raise the potential of being soft locked. But actually, speaking of things that are now included in the logic of V31, anytime we get a fire rod of any. We get a fire rod. Any and all dark rooms that have a torch box can now be in logic. So, for example, the Eastern Palace, the back of Eastern Palace, where you have to hit those Igor statues, that's now in logic with that fire rod.
Absolutely, that's one of the biggest things. A lot of the more novice runners, I guess would be the best way I can put it, that I see on Twitch are having troubles with in version 31 is that Fire Rod counts as dark room access or light source access for certain dark rooms.
Yeah, and that's also because of the addition of different logic too. Either it would be basic, which is intended for newer players of the randomizer, or advanced logic, which is what you're seeing on the screen now. This entire race is done with advanced logic.
Absolutely, and while we're on the topic, why don't we go over a couple of the other kind of larger changes from V31 for any of our newer viewers out there who maybe missed the launch of V31. The first and biggest being the progressive bow change.
Yeah, which is something everyone loves. I love the progressive bow, and there's now 2 bows in the item pool. One is a bow with regular arrows and a bow with silver arrows. That does mean now that doing Silverlight's Ganon can now be in logic if 1 or 2 bows are missing.
Absolutely. So that does kind of make it much more of a gamble if you're not real sure on your Silverless Ganon strats and the timings of it. As we see the wonderful pun from Blind there. I tried to catch Fog, but I missed.
Perfect. And P-Train is actually going to be getting a first sword from the Armos Knights, and P-Train has drawn first blood as a result. That fire rod is actually required for this particular dungeon, and we actually get rewarded for sword if we decide to decide to double dip that dungeon. Actually, is logically required, if I'm not mistaken, for you to do that dip, do that little dip into the Eastern Palace. It's a logical double. And also Eddie M finishing off blind, getting his first crystal, getting second blood.
Yeah, as of right now, I believe you're right. I believe that the logic did expect them to use that fire rod, that they weren't gonna take that fire rod to go get lamp somewhere else for Eastern.
To be receiving a Cane of Burna from your average hype cave.
We see Koi here getting ready to check King's Tomb, and he'll be sadly disappointed with that.
Yeah, pretty much nothing of importance here. Chloe actually heading for the back of Thieves Town. There's also, I believe, nothing as well. So far we've hit a lull in the action here. So, like I said, we have 4 runners here. We can only show, we have like plenty of other racers behind the scenes. We can only show 4 of them, but those who are on this, who are willing to get their name out there, be sure to give them a follow, as they're doing an excellent job. And Koi actually pulls off a kern jump, allowing him to go to over to the catfish area and also the pod area and such. So yeah, it's nice. And also be sure to follow our amazing trackers. We have White's Wolfos and Ricky of Kokiri as our trackers today. They're doing an excellent job too. Without them, we would not be figuring out. We have no idea what they would be doing, like at all. We would be absolutely confused. They are the unsung heroes. Definitely give them a follow, etc., etc.
Absolutely, tracking is such a thankless job because you don't hear from them. You don't see them on your runs, but without them, it'd be so hard to keep an idea of what's going on. As we see Catfish with even more explosives. This has been a pretty bomb-heavy seed so far.
Yeah, very little hearts and very little protection too. That's why this little excursion is really risky, and quite a lot of deaths going on as well. Eddie taking a death just from falling from that bumper, and P-Train
P-Train is headed his way up to Catfish here. I think Render, I think your mic cut out there, but we do see him going to the Angry Catfish. He's going to be unhappy with those bombs as well, as we see Chloe here. Oh, I hear you. You're back.
I have no idea what's going on with that, but yeah, only a few bombs, nothing too crazy. So
yeah, we shall see Eddie over here trying to get through Skull Woods here. He took another death. Oh, and takes 2 more hearts there.
Yeah, this is
really having a tough time.
Yeah, it's quite a rough scene, like quite rough, like in terms of health and damage. This is something that is, I've personally dealt with 4 hearts Thieves Down, and I've dealt with crazy like low percent items, and I am not skilled enough to do any of those. I take way too many deaths. But so at this point in the race, honestly, your best bet is to go and get let's go to pod. It's best to go to pod here because we have it's a dungeon you can clear. It's a crystal, and in addition, we have complete. Well, we don't have logical access to it, but well, I mean, for the fire, there are certain dungeons where there's certain rooms that do not have torch boxes for that fire rod to be useful in logic. If we had a lamp, then that dark maze specifically would be in logic, and there are certain rooms in the dark world in Pod. For example, the two chests underneath, the turtle room, and the final gauntlet through Pod. That is logically required. Like certain, like near the second half of it, I believe. Although I think there is another case here. That might be in the beginning of that afterwards. But yeah, unless we find a lamp, this is all out of logic.
Absolutely, and Chloe also not having the bow here, so pretty much has to find a small key, or everything he does after this point. I mean, he can obviously potion glitch, but everything after this point would still be out of logic. Okay, there's a small key. So now, is he going to potion glitch anyway, or is he going to opt to just use that small key?
I believe he's going to go fervor. I mean, if you get locked out anyway, honestly, best bet is just to do the potion camera unlock.
There's our ice rod.
Okay, so that's both rods. Unfortunately, that is not going to be useful at all because of Turtle Rug being a pendant. There's our second sword inside Pod. So there's two swords already, and that's actually going to be the end of that excursion because of the fact there were two items right out of the gate. If there was keys there, he would have continued, but the rest of the dungeon is bow locked.
But he is going to be happy completing this if he goes all the way through Eastern here and opts to do the Dark Room, because he'll be getting his second sword.
Yeah, this is nice. Although, if he finds honestly, remember, like, this Eastern Palace is logically required, a double dip, logically required because of the fact that the flippers were there, and there is a bow available for him from the man underneath the bridge that will give us the access to have him clear not only Eastern but Pod as well.
Absolutely. The other thing they could do is we could also see Swamp Palace. We've not seen anyone dive into Swamp yet, despite the flippers now being available for both P-Train and obviously Chloe having just picked it up. But that, with both the hammer and the flippers, that does cover quite a bit of Swamp.
Yeah.
And they do still need Hookshot, obviously, to get the last 5 items, I want to say.
Yeah, 5 items. Or not even that, like 4. It's probably 4 items because of there's a 2 in the flooded room, and you got the 1 from the waterfall room, and then there's Argus.
Argus, yeah. Yeah, so it'd have all but 4 items, and Swamp is a dense place. It does have quite a few items that they can get, so I'm kind of surprised to see P-Train here doing Thieves Town instead of going for the denser Swamp.
I mean, to be fair, this is a dungeon that he can clear, and it is a crystal. So him doing Thieves Town isn't too abnormal. I mean, 6 Hearts Green Mill is still risky. I mean, for me at least. But it shouldn't be bad for P-Train because he's got plenty of experience under his belt. So he knows how to play safe. He knows when to back out and such. Chloe is actually going to be leaving Eastern Palace because of that. Because whenever the bow is on that hobo, meaning a logical double dip is required for Eastern Palace.
And I might just be eating my words here because it looks like Chloe might actually head to do Swamp here.
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad call. You have a total of 6 items. However, if there are some items locked behind a hook shot, then things are going to get dicey. But we have a grand total of 6 items. Chloe actually going to be the first player with the fire rod as he's is mirroring from Lake Hylia Island and receiving that fire rod. That also now opens up Ice Palace as a dungeon that is...
Nope. Ice is not completable yet.
I keep forgetting about the timesmiths. I keep forgetting about the timesmiths.
Oh yeah, I do all the time too. Even in my runs, I'll be like, oh yeah, I got the fire rod. I can go do ice now. Oh no, I can't because I only have 1 glove.
Yeah, and the interesting thing too is that Peter never got the mirror from the uncle chest, which in contrast from everyone else, it's putting him behind in terms of things that he can potentially do. So the myths on... So we obviously know that the myths on the pedestal are not the case, due to the fact that Turtle Rock is a pendant, and we need Titan's myths for that as well, especially alongside the Cane of Samaria, which we know is on the desert ledge. So can either be a flute, another bow. It can't be hookshot. It can be any of the medallions, depending on what medallion it is. And it can't be the lamp. It can't be the lamp.
No. Yeah, if we're looking at a ped seed, it probably is going to either be one of the medallions, or it may be... Could it be book?
Book on ped is possible. This does result, however, in a blind pull, because they don't have the knowledge from the pedestal alone. Cully Power grabs his bow, and now that he has got a bow, will he decide to do Pod Eastern and probably go a little bit deeper into Pod? I mean, Edium's doing that right now, but does he do that as well? Will he do Pod Eastern? Because Eastern has been mostly cleared out. He can clear this. This Armos fight is in logic.
Absolutely, and hopefully, let's see what we can get here from Eddie and Miffy. There's the flute. Okay, there's our Death Mountain access.
And that's actually lamp locked, because, like I said, there is no torch box in this pod area, in this dark maze. Actually, no. It's actually, I take that back. That was actually required because of the fire rod. So it's in the bottom 2 chests. Hey, my own ward's there.
Looks like Edium is going to do the dark maze here with no lamp.
Now, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is out of logic, because so he's gonna have to mess around with the sword and clear out this entire room of those fire dodongo things. Getting the heart piece to start, and we're gonna head to the bottom for our bottom right chest rather. And that's gonna be, once he gets there. Chloe Power taking a death here, and it's gonna be your compass.
And he did pick up that big key, so we can see what's in the big chest as well.
Of course.
Just a big 20.
Yep. So all he really needs to do at this point, well, since Edium doesn't have a bow, so he can't progress further. So Chloe will be the first one to actually legitimately full clear. He'll be able to full clear pod as well as Eastern.
Well, not logically, because I believe you need the lamp to logically full clear. As we see P-Train finally getting his boots now going into back of escape.
There actually are some torch boxes in that final gauntlet. I don't know if there are enough torch boxes to actually make that logically required. Like make that put them in logic. So there's the flute from Chloe Power, which is in logic.
Now I'm curious, is there a torch box in that first room when you go down the stairs in Pod?
There is the hallway leading out there, but the last two rooms before you go further does have torch boxes, but even then, that still means we need a lamp to logically kill Helmassar King.
Yes.
So that now brings the mire area into logic with that flute in hand. And Chloe Power is actually going to be taking a death work.
No, it still doesn't, because again, second glove.
Again, the Titans Mitts again. Those stupid Titans Mitts.
But we do see P-Train finally picking up his mirror and boots here. I'm sure he doesn't feel happy that he's been that long without them, realizing now where they were.
I swear, every time I feel like we have access to something that is Titans Mitt locked, I feel like there is some that we have access to it, even though we don't so far. Because I'm so used to the fact that there's probably Titans Mitt so early in the game, and it's not. It can't even be on the pedestal anyway. It can't. Neither is the lamp.
Yeah, lamp can't be there. Neither can glove, because we need both of those for TR.
I think we had done it. Koi did escape earlier, and found out that that's not the case. So actually, Chloe is heading for backup pod anyway, even though this is out of logic, partially out of logic. But even if it's partially out of logic, it's still most likely out of logic already because of the fact that we haven't we don't have the materials for that. Now, at this point in the race, now that we have a flute. And that is in logic. So that's right away. That's our logical Death Mountain access. We have access to East Death Mountain, but not Dark Death Mountain. But Old Man Cave is also out of logic because once again we need that lamp.
True, but now we also have access to Tower of Hera. We have access to Spectacle Rock and Spectacle Cave as well. So there are quite a few chests that can be gathered up on Death Mountain.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. That's not to say that there's nothing. And the fact that we have that flute really early and it's also in logic kind of brings us to the fact that we can in fact do this. Chloe Power is actually going to be leaving pod because he had taken a death originally, so it's actually going to be instead doing Eastern Palace. I honestly don't blame them, although he actually didn't have enough magic to actually get through the entirety of those dark rooms. So
yep, there's a shovel check, which is 50 rupees here.
Yeah, there's actually 2 torch boxes that you can light once you get into that third room with the turtles.
Correct.
Yeah, those. He's just to bring up something in chat. Potentially, what could have happened was he couldn't hit. He didn't hit the torch, but it could have been either he either missed his rod shots because that flute that fire rod shots go so fast it's really hard to aim, or it potentially got blocked. But Koi is activating his flute. He will have access to Death Mountain, although this is out of logic because he has not gotten the fire rod from the Lake Hylia Island. Gooses lose, etc., etc.
Gooses lose. Well, Koi does know that the fire rod is there now, so is he going to opt to go get it immediately? It looks like maybe yes, he is.
Okay, so now that will bring the flute back into that flute into logic for him, as well as the bow. So far,
Koi actually does not have the bow yet.
Yeah, he does not have the bow, and Idiom's going to give us our auditory flute activation. Flute by wonderful chat members.
Flute.
There's our bird for Idiom, and Koi's picked up that fire rod, and Chloe has finished off the Armos Knights, and that he's the first player with Master Sword.
Exactly, the quack has attacked, Jack.
My personal creation, the Peck Neck is a wreck.
That's a good one, I like that.
I swear to God, Conductor has been infecting my life ever since I started playing Hat in Time. But anyway, Koi's picked up that bow, and Petron's also gonna grab that fire rod, so he'll have access to that flute in pod. Chloe is gonna try again in the back of pod.
Now that was interesting. By Chloe, he actually completed Eastern for the heal and the magic recovery to do pod with.
Not a bad idea. It's a matter of if he can hold on to that enough for him to completely finish off that one room that's giving him problems. So he's got the fire rod. Yeah, he's getting shots, but there it is. And now he's gonna have a lot of an easier time with this room now that he has a fire rod, able to see enough for him to finish off this room. And him picking up his bow from the man underneath the bridge.
Bombos on Zora.
Oh. Now, so we have our spiral coin, and our single arrow was also on the Zora ledge. And Chloe is off to fight Helmus Arcane. Now, the only thing that if Mystery Meyer is Bombos, then honestly, at this point in the game, we either need to find our Titans, which is gonna be there somewhere. Like, honestly, it's out there, but we don't know where. But Bombos, if Mystery Meyer is required, then we might be seeing once we get to Samaria, which is actually really close by, then we might we're gonna be in go mode actually. Now that I think about
we
it.
do
However,
we do still need hook shot as well.
right.
So we're gonna need what? Hook shot, lamp, logically, and second glove because we already know where Red Cane is.
Yeah.
So,
And we know where Berna is, which is actually, of course, in your average height cave. That
yeah, so at this point, really, it looks like, yeah, actually, Koya's very close to go mode here already.
yeah, he's got a pretty nice hold on the lead. However, if he does, he still is missing a sword, but he will be in a Master Sword from the Armos Knights after he finishes up Pod.
So the next question is, let's ask chat. Chat, where do you think mitts are going to show up?
It can't be Ice Palace. It could potentially be in Skull Woods. Probably, unless we found the 2 items already.
No,
If
I think
that's
we've
the
already
case,
found the 2 items.
Okay, then if that's the case, then honestly, Swamp Palace is your best call, even though you can't clear it. That, or the mountain. And honestly, given the way of the seed, I think mountain is looking really good. Because that way, if one of the runners goes up the mountain, and that person will most likely be P-Train once he's finishing up with Pod. That or Idiom.
Yeah, I would say probably either P-Train or Idiom is going to head up to the mountain here pretty quick and see what's up there. Looks like we got a lot of swamp. People saying swamp is going to have our second mitts.
Though honestly, I have to disagree because of the fact that well, in the sense of the logic that is available to us. We know that the flute is our access to Death Mountain, even though we are only able to logically like anything but Old Man Cave and the rest of Dark Death Mountain. But with a whole lot of items there, you have Spiral Cave, you have Hera is also a good option too because you're on the mountain.
I think I'm going to agree with chat that it's going to end up being in Swamp. I don't know. But I mean, I do absolutely understand where you're coming from. That, yeah, the logic is kind of pointing them towards Death Mountain a little more, I think.
Yeah, I feel like, yes, Swamp Palace has like 6 items there, but like, because in 6 items is nothing to scoff at. No, it's the most dense dungeon in the game that's not Gen's Tower. But Chloe Power is actually committing to this Death Mountain play after checking out what's on the shovel, which was only 50 rupees. It's going to start things off with that Old Man Cave, which is out of logic, but saying that these runners do not give a crap about logic. He's going to do it anyway, because it is by common consensus, you have to do this. If you're a speedrunner, you have to do this. Otherwise, I don't know, you're gonna just be following the logic and spend a whole lot of time. But there's the old man. A successful old man cave for 20 rupees.
But more importantly, he does get the save and quit point there.
Yeah, of course. There's that save and quit point that's oh so important. It's a lot more faster than doing Sanctuary for a heart refill. You got the speed of Link's house with the heart refill of Sanctuary. Peachring takes down the Helmut Arcane as well as Koi simultaneously, and Edium is on the Mothula fight. Only a heart piece inside Spectacle Rock and a heart container on top of Spectacle Rock.
And we see Edium taking on who I affectionately refer to as the most well-designed and balanced boss fight in the entire game.
Yeah, this fight is really annoying and also very buggy. And no, I did not intend that pun.
I was gonna say, is that a pun? Because if it is, it's a perfectly timed pun.
No, I do not intend that. Down goes Mothula, and that's his Edium's second crystal.
Alright, we do see Big Key is not fire locked in Hera, although they do already have the fire rod, so it wouldn't have mattered either way, except for the time save.
Well, even then, you still have a decent time save in the form of the Hera pot that was recently discovered, like pretty much a month ago. It's a lot more faster way up the mountain, up the Tower of Hera. And even if you get a big key, you can still do it. So that way, it saves you a whole lot of time climbing the mountain, climbing up the tower. And it's still also commonly is used to skip the cave mostly, but it's shown off by Chloe. But it's mostly used to skip the Hera basement in case you're looking for items still, or you want to fight Moldorm really quickly.
Absolutely, and that's one of the biggest things I love about Link to the Past Randomizer. Both the community and the game itself is, this game is what, 25 years old, 24 years old?
Yeah, it's
and people are. Oh, go ahead.
And well, Chloe first of all takes the fault to Moldorm, but yeah, the game is like 25 plus years old, and people are still finding new glitches and tricks for this game that we remember from a kid back in the 90s when the Super Nintendo was the hottest name, and Chloe Power is not having a good time with this this Moldorm fight. But
yeah, he's definitely getting knocked around there by Trolldorm.
Yeah, but the most recent glitch, I would say, is actually something that I personally brought to light after one of our runners, a runner from one of the dailies, happened to stumble upon by complete accident. And I'm hoping Koi can do this because he's got bombos, he's got the fire rod. I'm hoping if one of the runners will do this, and if not, then I can explain it. But we'll wait until Ice Palace once we have that. We have the Titan's Mitts. It's gonna be going into an enraged mode because he's poked Moldorm, and that is going to be the fight for Moldorm. That is one rough fight, and that's our second item I want to say.
Yep, that was our second one because we already found the cape in Big Chest. So we got the blue pendant for a piece of heart. And we do see P-Train now up on Death Mountain doing his spiral check.
Yeah, it makes sense for him to do it this early. It's a dungeon. It's not bad of a play to make. Spiral Cave has
There
Titan's
is
Mitts.
our second glove. Yep, there is our Titan's Mitts in Spiral.
That is value. Oh boy. So now P-Train is looking really good right now. So we have access to Samaria, we have access to Ice Palace, we have access to the Maya area. everything what I was hoping to get from it now coming to fruition. And Peachrain is going to check our actually named Paradox Cave. Why? Because apparently the bottom is on the top and the top is on the bottom when you go in. Don't ask me why, it just does.
Yeah, it's also probably bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Yeah.
Naku, it's really hard to say who's in the lead at this point. Peachrain did get his gold mitts, as did Chloe, but Koi has 3 crystals and is closer to go mode. So at this point, it's tough to declare who is in the lead per se.
Actually, I feel like Chloe's closing in on go mode because of that Titans mitts. That ain't Peachrain. But there's a bug net from Paradox Cave, so that we have access to catching fairies. Nothing, I believe, nothing was of use on top.
We are about to see Super Bunny here, and one of the other things, because this is advanced logic, I believe that puts the first chest in Hookshot Cave in logic as well.
Yes, the boots. Since we have the boots, this means the first chest is going to be logically required. Blue mail inside Super Bunny Cave. That's going to help say drastically. You can't go wrong with any of more defense. And
absolutely, especially with as brutal as this seed has decided to be.
And Bombos is required for Turtle Rock. Unfortunately, we can't really do much of it because of the fact that the Titans mitts. Well, we have access to it though, but the rest, seeing as dependent, unless it's getting very dire. Half magic in the bunkable chest, but Peachrain's gonna do his hover. If Peachrain has to do a dungeon, something like Hookshot Cave, chances are he's gonna hover, and he gets it down just right.
Peachrain just swagging here, I think.
Of course, he's showing off how, yes, you can hover, which, if you those who are not familiar with what a hover is, basically it's a very, very hard trick that only like a few runners know how to do, but having to dash to press the dash button like very, very fast and on a consistent time. You have to hit the button once every 30 frames. Like once 30 frames is like you have to hit it like so fast that you have to get like 30 frames or something like that. But then you move in a certain direction and you have to keep up the momentum. You got to keep up the pace, and because the game runs at 60 frames per second, you can only you had 30 frames of the dash animation, and you can only hit within a certain period of time. There's our lamp.
There's our lamp. Yep, lamp was in Spike Cave. Wow. Which means, yes, the logic was expecting us to get Flute, take Flute to Death Mountain to go get the lamp.
That was a horribly timed rock, and that knocked the duck out of the way. Like they knocked Chloe out of the way of the duck. But alright, time to check what's on Mr. Meyer. I can't catch what that was.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, unfortunately. Also, hello, Semper Fire Dog. There's our mirror shield.
Yeah, but most importantly, later on down the road, very soon in fact, Peachrain's gonna get the King of Samaria from the desert ledge. And only a heart piece in the checkerboard cave. And it looked like it was Ether. So we're still not out of the woods yet. But P-Train, luckily, is going to get that Cancer Maria. He's very happy to see a Cancer Maria right there. Especially when you see it very early in the game, you know about it, and it's hungry in your head. It feels good.
It does feel good. Now, really, he's looking for, that ether tablet. Excuse me, that ether tablet and his hook shot.
And the dungeon and Desert Palace was boots locked, so
I think we've pretty much seen that unless ether is on pedestal, Pet is pretty much toast here.
yeah, and with the fact that we know that potentially, I think Chad is pointing out that it's possible that Ether was on Misery Mire. If we find it here, yeah, then that's a complete and utter Pet dead here. Finished off the mod for the fight and getting his crystal. That's his 4th one in total.
When you see P-Train, he's probably going to go right to the back of Desert and just finish that off. And then it's going to be interesting to see where he goes next. Is he going to go to Ice Palace? Or is he maybe going to go into TR, because he does have TR access once he gets Bombos.
And more importantly, the Fire Rod, because I believe he's still missing the Fire Rod.
Oh, you're right. You're right. He did not pick up his Fire Rod yet.
Yeah. The Fire Rod isn't off. It's not awful. It's inconvenient, but it's not god awful. It's not like there's progression on something like Catfish where you can easily orphan it off.
Absolutely, and Corey here about to get his golden gloves.
And no, wait, he's got the Fire Rod. He does have it.
P-Train does have the Fire Rod? Okay, yes, he does.
Okay.
He's wielding it right now, so...
There.
Oh, don't worry about it, Ricky. It happens. No big deal. Tracking is a hard job.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, it is. You gotta pay a lot of attention, but that's Lamb is down, and the whole and a jackpot for P-Train was 300 rupees. Now, honestly, my best bet is you should go to Ice Palace. In my eyes, honestly. But, then again, you still...
Realistically, I would agree with you there. Yeah, Ice Palace is probably the next big play that they need to make.
Yeah.
Again, that's not saying for certain that it's where the items are. It's just that's kind of where logic says they should go.
Yes, and that being said, though, for P-Train, really he's just looking for that whatever the medallion probably was Ether, from what we can make an inference of based on the chat. But if we do find that required medallion, then for even though it's not technically in go mode, P-Train's pretty much in go mode because he's got that hovering ability. Because only a few runners can actually hover, and most notable runner that comes to mind when you think about hovering is Andy, the great almighty Andy.
Which, as a side note, if you're ever interested in learning more about Link to the Past tricks and the randomizers and stuff, Andy is a great guy to ask. He streams all the time, and he's a great one to talk to if you have questions.
And
if you are... Oh, go ahead.
Okay, and not to mention too, Andy is going to be well, if you pay attention to his streams, but I'm not really listening to who, but the SG Live tournament is going to have quite a lot of big names in the community, because earlier in August we had a set of qualifiers that determined who got in to the main qualifiers, went to the main match, having their trips subsidized, and having pretty much coming in as the top seeds of that tournament. But it's still technically free to enter. I mean, you can still enter it even if you're not if you didn't qualify for the subsidized payments. But SG Live is going on, and we have quite a number of amazing tournaments for you all to watch. We have our game, Link to the Past Randomizer. Not to mention, we also have the Zelda Ocarina of Time Randomizer and the Super Mario Maker 2 tournament, which features a whole bunch of user-created levels, all handpicked by a series of level testers. And all of these tournaments have a grand prize total of $3,000. And actually, Eddie is actually doing a hover. And no, he falls.
He was close. He tried.
Yeah, it's $3,000 for each of the main tournaments. Not to mention, too, we have a huge marathon going on Speed Gaming 2, and that's going to be starting up on Thursday. The main SG Live tournaments are going to be held on Speed Gaming 1, and the main event, the marathon, is going to be held on Speed Gaming 2. So if you want to tune in, be sure to tune in when we host our first ever SG Live tournament, SG Live event, held in Herndon, Virginia, where the original Games Done Quick was held.
All right, and it looks like we see P-Train here. I completely forgot he unlocked this with those gold mitts. He unlocked the entire Smith sequence here. So we could possibly see our hook shot or our second bow here on Smith's or Lunchbox.
Bad call. It's not a bad call before committing to Ice Palace. Pretty much, if a lot of the runners, if we know it's a crystal, if want to minimize their time in Ice Palace, red mail was picked up from the blacksmiths over on P-Train's side. But yeah, most people would want to wait until Ice Palace is until finish at the very end. It's really annoying to deal with it mid-seed, especially when there's progression there. It is so annoying. It's one of the most annoying dungeons in the entire game, which was thankfully altered for the Game Boy Advance port.
Oh, we do see Chloe here is going to head into Turtle Rock. So we are going to get some Turtle Rock checks here. This could be huge if he finds either a bow, which would be very useful in a closer Ganon fight, or if he finds the necessary medallion.
Book of Medora was picked up in the first chest of Turtle Rock. So we have the ability to read the pedestal. We also have access to the tablets.
So yes, since we don't know what that book actually is going to unlock, it may unlock something of great value here. The only downside is Chloe now has to ride the block all the way back around.
Is Quake from Misery Meyer, as one of our chat members points out.
Yep, purple chest had silvers in it, so P-Train now with silvers.
So all we really need to do to make the last 4 chests in the game not required is if we find a tempered sword. Only reason why anyone, if by that point, if anyone, only reason why anyone would ever go to check the last 4 chests in the game, especially a certain Moldorm 2 treasure, is if there's is either A, if there's a sync heart, or B, if the runner has 3 heart pieces and there's a heart piece there's one last heart piece that gives them the heart refill. Otherwise, the entirety of that Moldorm 2 treasure is death.
You see Chloe now, he scored that big key and he's headed deeper into TR.
E-Train's gonna give us our Ice Palace play.
I honestly have to say I'm not so sure about the TR play in general, only because Ice Palace is already in Logic. I feel like he should have probably done Ice Palace first. What the heck is that thing that he turned into?
That's an Eevee. That is an Eevee because Chloe Power Sprite is a Vaporeon.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the heck Sprite is? I finally took a closer look at Chloe's Sprite and I'm like, what Sprite even is that?
Yeah, it's a Vaporeon. It's actually it's actually a recent addition in B31. There's a whole lot of sprites you can choose from when you're setting up for your first random seed or your subsequent seeds coming up. You can choose from quite a variety, and you have like a total of 200 something different sprites for you to choose. One of my favorites, and currently my main driver, is Cadence from Cryptid the Necrodancer, as well as Kings of Hyrule, because of the crossover that Brace Yourself Games did with Nintendo with their Necrodancer and Legend of Zelda crossover. Really fun game too, which I hadn't.
It's funny, actually more recently on my stream, one of my viewers dared me to play as Tile for a sprite, and I started playing it, and I actually really like it. It's hilarious. I thought I'd hate it. As we see a third bottle there in Mimic Cave.
But to answer a question in chat, that's actually the Shadow Fox sprite. It's a fox sprite that's crossed with the Shadow Link sprite from, I believe, Ocarina of Time and certain other Zelda games. And yeah, the Saint card, to answer a question in chat, a Saint card is a heart container found in the Sanctuary that gives you a full refill when you pick it up. It's the only heart container in the game that does this. And if hints were turned on, because hints are disabled for this SG Life preset, the hint would give you is the heart container instead of a heart container. Because if you see the in the hint, that signals the Saint card. But Chloe Power's on his way over to Laser Bridge, and P-Train is off to the Cold Stare fight. Now, again, I'm hoping that Koi does this specific Cold Stare bug, but I'm actually gonna, if he doesn't do this, I might as well explain it anyway. We'll come into this later on. Hint. It has to do with the shell of Cold Stare.
No, I don't believe he got all the items in IP yet. Because he doesn't have the hook shot to get over to the other side to get the last few items.
Yeah, that entire side is hookshot locked. But Edium's also doing Ice Palace.
I didn't even consider that. Yeah, that half of that several chests are hookshot locked in ice. So that really does make this TR play a little more reasonable here. No, you cannot bomb jump it. It's quite a far distance to travel. You see Chloe here finishing up Trinex, hopefully, down to 1 heart. Oh, but takes a death. No, Chloe did not take the safety door, unfortunately. The area I'm talking about is with the 4 red jellyfish enemies, where you have to hook shot across the room and then walk down. I thought that hole was just a little too long for you to bomb jump, but I could very well be mistaken. You see P-Train getting his Hera medallion there, as Chloe's headed back around for round 2 with Trinex. And looks like Edium here is still cleaning out his ice palace as well. P-Train looks like he's going to unlock his Turtle Rock as well, and he might be headed in there next.
I'm actually also doing Cold Stare now. Chloe on the second phase of the Trinex by P-Train, also entering the Turtle Rock. Place already in there, from what I can tell.
And second time around, Chloe manages to pick up Trinex. A lot less trouble this time. And Edium is quickly taking out Cold Stare here.
That's 1 pennant down. At this point in the race, we're still missing a whole. We still are missing a hook shot and Quake. So, if I had to take a stab at it, most likely going to have to be in Misery Mire.
Or Swamp, or Books.
Yeah, the tablets is an option too, which Chloe is willing to check the Ether tablet here. Hookshot cannot be on the pedestal. Quake can be on the pedestal. And for
tablet gives us just the heart container.
Okay, so that's not it. That's not it. Chloe's flew to 4. Let's check escape. Chloe, meanwhile, on the Trinex fight.
Closing check Dark Cross here.
Not a bad idea. But, you know, there's nothing here, but... Eh.
Front of escape has been checked. Void, just not Dark Cross.
Oh yeah, because we never had the lamp. It was technically it can be lottery required. Only 20 rupees, so it's not. That's not it. For Chloe, he's gonna go check the front of escape. Koi finishes Trinex, gets his second pendant.
Yeah, at this point, that leaves, Bombo's tablet, Swamp, Pedestal for Quake, possibly, I don't think what else would really be in logic here. Correct. Swamp has not been touched yet. Oh, Misery Mire is also in logic, so we could see. Well, we can't get into Misery Mire without Quake, but we could see Hookshot in Misery Mire.
Yes, that is true. But
that would actually be really ugly if we have Hookshot in. No, we can't have Hookshot in Misery Mire and Quake on Pedestal because we need Hookshot to get Pedestal.
Yeah, so only question is, who is it gonna be? Who will do this play? Who's gonna do it? Like, who is going to go into Misery Mire and bet on the possibility that we find? Oh no, wait, we don't have Quake, right? I keep forgetting me. I should be knowing this. I should know this, but I don't. But I mean, once we find the Quake, the question will be, can we find the hookshot there? It's at this point you have to do overall checks. We know that Quake can be on the pedestal, but not the hookshot. But Chloe Power is going to check the Bombo's tablet. Is that our answer?
There's our hookshot. So I'm betting that hookshot leads to Quake in Swamp.
If that's not the case, then, well, it's likely that we could see a blind pull. So, actually, Chloe's opting to do Ice Palace here. Not a bad idea, because now that since we have the hook shot, we can do we can figure out what the remaining checks are.
Hookshot Cave has already been checked. Actually, was it P-Train, I believe, do the hover?
Yes. Oh, Hookshot Cave completely dead because of the fact that P-Train did hover over there. So that does mean that Turtle Rock was in fact required. We had to just steal we had to get the book out of the first chest, and then that led to just go to Bombo's tablet, and there you go. There's your progression.
This seed has been wacko crazy for dips like that. Silvers came from Lunchbox. So yeah, at this point, the only thing they're looking for is where is that Quake medallion?
If it's not an Ice Palace, then potentially it's gotta be in Swamp Palace. And
Yeah.
subsequently, that leads us into an Oops All Dungeons. Because, well, we had to get the flippers. Well, let me think about this. Actually, no, it wouldn't be Oops All Dungeons because of that cave, and that led to nothing.
No, it would be. Oh no, yeah, because Hera was pendant. So unless pedestal is Quake, it would not be an all dungeon seed.
No. Well, if it was on the no, okay, hold on. If it was on the pedestal, it wouldn't be considered Oops All Dungeons, but all dungeons as a whole. Like,
yeah,
minus the Aga 1. So, if it's not here, so if it's not, so if the last remaining items are not in Ice Palace, and if it's not Quake on Ice Palace, then you have to go for the high density play. You have to do this. You have to check Swamp Palace. You have access to it. You have full access to it. You have the ability to clear this. And if it's not in Swamp Palace, the only possible option is the pedestal. And if it's not there, then it's gotta be in some overworld shacks. And from what I can tell, there are very few overworld checks that we can do at this point.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, what overworld checks are left that we haven't really hit yet? Yeah, I can't think of any offhand. We've checked Regina, we've checked Ice, we've checked Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, Bat.
Bat because it was very early on in the game. Bumper Ledge has, I believe, nothing.
Yeah, I don't think Bumper Ledge was an item of value. Oh, it was a bottle. That was our other bottle that we're...
Yeah, but
yeah, it was our third bottle.
Yeah, but it's still that. Even then, it's still like a bottle. But did Cave 45. We did Hive Cave. We did Sahasrara. Well, actually, we didn't do Sahasrara's Green Pendant, but we have Sahasrara's Closet done. But Speed Train is opting to do Swamp Palace, and so is Chloe Prowler from my judgment.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be going into Swamp and looking for that elusive Quake medallion.
And Chloe's already in there now as we speak. So this can potentially be where everything is. If we had missed an overworld check, I honestly do not know where it would be, because we've done enough. We did enough of the seeds that we know a couple things about a couple things left. So if Swamp isn't it, I don't know if Chloe did in fact get full clear the dungeon. The hookshot was on the Bombos tablet.
Yep, I think, yeah, if Quake is not in Swamp, it's probably going to be on Shish Kebab or on the pedestal.
Yeah, if it's Sahasrara, then that is one way to cap off a seed. Otherwise, that's even better. That's even a better way to cap off the seed if it's on the pedestal. So that leads us to an all dungeon seed, and oh boy, imagine what it would have been like if we did not get the book, or if the runners had decided to go and check the ped off of a whim, like completely just go out of their way to check the pedestal, just to find out that if potentially Quake is on there, because we are running out of checks really fast, and that timer is going up and up and up.
And finding just a whole lot of nothing so far in Swamp. There's a big key. First bow was on Man Under the Bridge, and second bow was in Purple Chest.
Now, another thing that could potentially be on there, well, probably late in the game if we find Quake, is if we find Quake, it could have either been another sword too, like have one of the 4 vanilla swords on the pedestal.
That would actually be hilarious to see a vanilla sword on pedestal.
Yeah, but then again, this is in the event that Quake is whatever reason not on the pedestal, and either in Swamp Palace or on Sahasrara. That or just your typical like 20 rupees or bombs or arrows or whatever.
What if it was ether?
That would have been a big king of the teeth. But Koi has Scream Pendant, and I believe he's going back in for left side swamp.
We are getting closer and closer to this being a pedestal seed. With every chest that Koi opens, we're one step closer to seeing that pedestal pole.
Another possibility is the mushroom, which leads to the Quake on the potion shop. That can be even worse. Like we can do worse than that, oddly enough. And 20 rupees on the big chest, that's actually it. So it's either Sahasrara or the pedestal at this point. Oh boy.
The question is, where is Koi gonna go first?
Gonna go for the pedestal.
Yes! Blind pedestal pull!
It is I mean it's not a bad idea, because you already have your pendants. But if for whatever reason it's on Quake, if Quake is on there, then that's a problem. But even then, like, even if it's not on the pedestal, it's like Sahasrara having the Quake would be that'd be excellent. So okay, so this will narrow it down. Is it Quake? Is it the mushroom that leads to the Quake on the pedestal? He's gonna blind pull it now.
He's not even gonna book it right here. He's just like, whatever.
Not even gonna try. And it's gonna be 50 rupees.
Oh shit!
It's on Sahasrara.
Yeah, or Sahasrara has. Yep, either that or Sahasrara's throwing shrooms in his backyard, and the shrooms lead to Quake.
It's on Sahasrara. If it's on Sahasrara, I'm gonna flip.
I honestly don't know where else it could be, besides Mushroom Shop with Mushroom here or Quake right here.
It's not on Sahasrara either.
What the heck? Where is it?
It's gotta be on. Is it an Ice Palace? Is it Ice Palace? For unless there's another item in left side swamp, then there's surely enough like something there. Like I'm running out of ideas. Like there's nothing left for us at this point.
Yeah, I don't
it's not
see what I don't think it's. Well, we're gonna find out if it's in left side swamp because Chloe's gonna go all the way left. So
yeah. It's on the dig spot. We know that.
Yep, we know it's not dig.
So this is one wild scene. Like, so it was not on the pedestal. It was not on Sahasrara. The two possible locations that would have been like the biggest trolls of them all. I hate to use it, but it's clear that to me that this seed really wants you to just be annoyed as all get. Like, where is that god-forsaken Quake?
Exactly.
Where in the world is that godforsaken Quake medallion? Just to call
honestly, if it's in Ice Palace, I think our runners are going to be angrier because most of them have been in here, I believe, twice.
Well, Koi is leading the charge here in Ice Palace.
All right, let's see what Chloe finds here in Left Side Swamp.
Oh,
We have a map.
if it's on Left Side Swamp, I'm gonna flip. Zipper
Sword. Well, Zipper Sword, I guess.
Well, at least the last war chest in the game is dead.
True.
So now it's gotta be a nice palace. There's nothing else.
Yeah, I can't think of anywhere else it could possibly be.
Oh, what is this scene, man? I am. Oh, my brain is fried. Eddie M's gonna get the very, very unfortunate news that it's not that Quake is not on the Quake's not on the pedestal. You're gonna get 50
And he's gonna blind pull it too.
I mean, at this point in the game, since you have all your 3 pendants, you're probably gonna have to pull it. You're gonna blind pull it anyway. You're not gonna like read it. I think one person said it best. Debated the seed. This, that's what another person in the chat said. That's like,
there is Quake.
Oh my god! At 1 hour, 37 minutes, at like 36 minutes and 59 seconds, just under 137. Koi's in. Oh no, P-Train's in go mode.
P-Train is in go mode. Koi's right behind him.
So now it's a battle for. We get a race.
We
have a race. Oh no, P-Train's almost. Oh, P-Train messed up this. Oh no, it's gonna be weird, but I mean he still has a decent lead ahead of him. Koi's still looking for that the Quake, but he will be in go but at 138, 137.
Yeah, about 137.50 here. 137.45. He's now in go mode.
Chloe pulls the pedestal again doing the blind pull because
where is Koi going?
he's got to finish up Ice Palace. He still hasn't done that.
Oh, he hasn't finished Ice. Okay.
This was his first excursion, so he has to do this.
Okay.
Now
okay.
I'm hoping he's gonna do a trick that I personally brought to light and done actually first discovered by one of the runners, by a runner that by one of our runners. That's probably not on the race, but like one of our community members just happened off of a whim. So one up Bombos. Now, if he doesn't do it, I'm gonna just describe it. It's nothing too wild. It's merely a visual bug. It does not affect the race as a whole. Okay, he's not doing it. Okay, so what I've discovered is that if you decide to map, that, by the way, what an excellent cold stare fight.
Map. Koi absolutely just demolished that cold stare fight.
Yeah. So if you map, as the cold stare shell is fading away, the shell stays on the screen. It's one of those weird visual bugs that happens when two things are happening at the same time, because this game does not like when you do two things at once.
As evidenced by the wonderful chicken glitch.
Yeah, there's quite a couple weird things too. It's a bug that I was able to replicate, and if I ever show it on the restream, it's a really interesting trick. And Koi's destroying that, kills this hopeless Myrtledactyl. I mean, to be fair, we can't even do the thing that I'm not really gonna describe here, but the thing is really a plague, but.
Still can't believe that Quake medallion was so ridiculous.
Yeah, and the sad thing too is that we could have waited for Ice Palace a good while. As evidenced by the fact that if we decided to leave Ice Palace and take that book from Turtle Rock and get our hookshot from the Bombos tablet, then go into Ice Palace, you save probably an entire sequence, entire dip of Ice Palace. And you don't do the crazy shenanigans of clearing out Swamp Palace and wasting a whole lot of time and checking for not only Green Pendant, but the pedestal as well. But P-Train played a game of Space Invaders, took out the mothership, or UFO, and that is going to be P-Train's 7th crystal. So, actually, no, that's actually Chloe's 7th crystal, but I'll just describe it anyway. Inside Ganon's Tower, there are 22 locations where the big key could potentially be. From 1 to 22, get your guesses in chat where you think that big key will be. My personal guess is going to be, you know what? This seed's been crazy and it's not enough. Let's go for the ultimatum here. Let's go for tile room number 22.
I'm gonna say 20. It'll probably end up in the randomizer room.
If in the randomizer room, that's like 10, 11, 12, 13.
Or no, not randomizer. Right side's 4 chests. I can never remember what that room is.
Yeah, or that, or if you go right, then left, the Armos Ice Knight, the Armos Ice Knights, nice Armos.
Yes. But I'll say it's gonna be 20. That'll be my guess. Is 20.
To answer a question in chat, it was getting close to a pedestal seed, but it was only 50 rupees. But at the same time, everyone pulled because of the fact that the seed gave you quite a wild ride from the off. Also, Koi is doing spooky action. Did some spooky action. Always fun to watch. But
I've never seen that before. That is a cool glitch.
Yeah, it has to do with messing with the Ancilla state of it's just messing with the splash damage of the fire rod, and with a combination of things like having to do with things like the bird and how you use your Samaria, the leg. It causes weird things to happen with the fire rod, and as a result, you can be able to hit things from farther away when you shouldn't be able to do that in the first place. But patrons in Ganon's Tower. Bets are off the table. First one is going to be a heart piece on the darts. So moving things along to the scalpels room. And the second chest is going to be a peanut bottle, there's our ether. That was number 4. And number 5 is going to be a heart container. I'm going to do the left. They're going to do the right side. Going to go for the Dark Magician. I personally with Dark Magician when you have a whole lot of keys. But whatever. But there's our gold sword from number 5 and 6 in the Hope Room.
6 and 7.
6 and 7. Yes, that's right. 6 and 7. Chloe has finally got his Quake. And now is off to Misery Mire. And P-Train's coming up on the compass room. This will be 8, 9, 10, 11. There's our big key. That was on the break. And one of our trackers,
White
Wolfos,
got it.
Yep, actually one of our trackers. So, congrats, White Wolfos. You're a hero in our hearts.
All our trackers are heroes in our hearts.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. So, the convenience of that gold sword in GT pretty much just says it here. We don't need to check the last 4 chests of the game. Once again, the only reason why they would ever go for it is if the sync hearts, the hearts from the sanctuary that gives you a full heart refill, is in the Moldrum 2 chest, and or they have 3 heart pieces. And the last heart piece they need for the refill is also on the Moldrum 2 treasure. And in a broad sense, and the only reason why they would ever go for that is if they were looking for silver arrows and or tempered sword. Or higher. Mostly tempered sword though.
We see P-Train now headed through the gauntlet. Which I'll admit, when I do these, when I do randomizer seeds, I literally just bombos every room.
Saying about that bottom, I'll take it.
Yeah, 3 silvers, wipes out Linmo's 2, and moving right on up the tower.
The most satisfying room in the entire game. What's that? You want more satisfaction from this room? Check out this.
I love these 2 rooms.
This is the most satisfying room in the entire game. Also, Chloe picked up the red mail, and now he's a shiny.
That is awesome. I do have to make a quick shout out, to the people who designed these sprites, because a lot of them are so cool.
Yeah, they're talented sprite artists who bring us such amazing sprites. Once again, there are tons of amazing sprites. There is a grand total of like 250 something of them, and originally it was like 216, but now it's or something like that. But now that number has been upgraded enough, with the upgraded even more with the addition with the release of V31. And like I'll say this previously, and P-Train's gonna hover. Oh no! Moldrum says no. Moldrum says no. What a way to cap up the stage with Moldrum denying P-Train of his hover. Alright, he's good. He's set up now. There you go.
Nice, beautiful hover there. Second time around by P-Train as he's about to get up and fight Aga 2.
That was a weird seed. So Koi is on his way over to his way up to fight Moldrum 2 eventually. He just finished off Moldrum Lamo 2, and Chloe has his 7th crystal and will be heading to Ganon's Tower very, very soon. And that's a triple from Peach Rain, that was a perfect setup for that.
Beautiful, beautiful setup there. That triple was not. Those triples are not easy to hit.
And now it's on to fight the big pig.
Looks like it's time to start making some bacon.
I bet you didn't know that you can hold your nose, or something like that.
You can't hum while holding your nose closed.
You can't. That is science. That is actually true. So honestly, it has to probably do with the fact that your nose actually does have a significant say in whether or not a significant reason for the hum. So Koi's actually going to be pulling that Boulder 2 treasure, only 3 bombs. Not like it matters though.
Oh no, silver is his one true weakness.
Yes, and it has to do with the fact that you have to exhale, but your mouth's closed.
Beautiful triple there by P-Train with the arrows.
Excellent, excellent. Get your GGs in chat for P-Train, and all he has to do is cross that 1x3 bridge, and that will be the end of this crazy scene, and that is going to be P-Train taking first on the restream with an official SRL time of 1:51:39, and that's good enough for 8th place overall. And going in descending order, we had Matt 789 in 7th place with a time of 1:50:40, Sabatender in 6th place with a time of 1:49:49, D-Demolisher 1 in 5th place with a time of 1:47:54, Old Man Sunshine in 4th place with a time of 1:46:56, Gerdo taking the 3rd place spot with a time of 1:35:23, Superman Taylor in 2nd place with a time of 1:32:58, and taking the gold spot, the top of the podium, is Zelda Dazan in 1st place with a time of 1:31:30. So a whole 20 minutes before P-Train. So yeah, I believe that must have been due to the fact that he must have not done Swamp Palace, did not go to the pedestal, did not do the everything, like all these last locations that led these runners far away from that spot. Ugh.
And it sounds like we were joined. Yes, I'm looking over here. We were joined by P-Train, GG P-Train.
GG's.
So I got to start with this simple 2-word question. Quick medallion?
Yeah, I've honestly just been in a slump lately. Like my last 3 out of 5, 4 out of 6, something like that, races, I have absolutely last location denied them. And this was another one of those races. I just really have not had a good streak lately.
If it makes you feel better, you were not the only one who last locationed that medallion.
I'm going to guess. How many people on the restream gamble that Hookshot might have been in GT? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, I absolutely last location to Ice Palace. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how I'm at, like, having a top 10 finish.
Everyone.
My guess is that everybody gambled Hookshot in GT.
Everyone did. Everyone did.
Yeah, they were either gambling Hookshot in GT or at least in Misery Mire.
Okay.
As we see Koi also finishing up his race.
We stream with official SRL time of 1:53:59. That's good for 10th place overall, finishing off the top 10 here. And speaking of Koi, here he is right now.
Hey, nice hover seed, guys. Thanks. Really awesome.
Didn't you do the thing?
Hey,
you didn't do the
Oh
cold stare
my
thing.
God.
Hey.
So frustrating.
You didn't do the cold stare thing.
I didn't want to do the cold stare thing. I was tilted. I was so tilted the entire race because I'm like, oh yeah, no, super awesome hook shot. Fantastic.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I had hookshot before I had Quake. I absolutely 100% last location Quake. I had pulled PED and check green pinned it. Like, I'd done all of that before ever finding Quake.
Why?
Everyone did it too. Alone, everyone did as well.
Well, I was just thinking, like if I'm playing the seed and I knew how to hover, like after finding a cane, I would have just gone straight to Ice Palace and full clear it, because like probably something there. And if look, Quake, and then I'm done, right? But because I can't hover, I was hard thinking the possibility. Oh my god, the hookshot sucks so hard, so I went to Turtle Rock instead. Like if I could hover, I would have gone Ice Palace first and finished like top 3.
Yeah,
well,
so
because I died to Helma, but like much better than I did is what I mean.
So before I committed to the full clear of Ice, I wanted to check all the overworld first. So I did Smith Chain, cleaned up like Shovel, K45, stuff like that. And then on a whim, I was like, well, let me check Zora before I go into Ice Palace. And I found Bombos. So right there, I was like, oh gosh, Turtle Rock probably has Quake. And in my mind, I'm like, I hope I'm following Quake. And I'm not following Hookshot. So what I did was I did a quick Ice Palace. So I cleared the Pentagator room for the Heart Container. I cleared the Freezor room for the Big 20.
You made a gamble. It was just a little gamble that you made that ended up backfiring immensely.
Yeah. But I mean, I had fire. I had bombos. So I told myself, I'm like, maybe if there are 2 items on the right side of Ice Palace, I'll come back in. I'm like, but really, I think it's going to be Turtle Rock. So yeah, I went to Turtle Rock, found the book, still ended up full clearing Turtle Rock. Ether was junk.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, if you hadn't made this one little skip in Ice Palace, right, then you would have had like a 130 time easy. Because of hovering.
I mean, maybe, but that's
therefore hover seat.
But yeah, I've been in a really big slump lately, just because like my past like 3 out of 5 races, I've been last location and stuff. And this was no exception.
So, besides the wonderful placement of Hookshot and Quake, how did you feel about the seed? P-Train first, I'll ask you.
I felt really good about the early game, specifically finding the bow, doing these hobo fake flipper. I felt really good about that because you had Dark World access at that point, so I figured if anything, people might have skipped Ice Rod Cave. Definitely. Even if you checked Ice Rod Cave, like for me, fake flippering the hobo was really slow relative to everything you had to do. And then I killed Armos and got the sword, so I got to do Thieves Town with the sword, which was really nice. I intentionally did it sequence break the mountain just in case Flute was my mountain access, which worked out. Really, I'm happy with every decision I made until I decided to skip an item in Ice. Other than that, I felt like I was around the sea pretty well.
Yeah, it didn't go that way for me at all. I did not do the fake flipper, did not get the bow. Did absolutely everything I could before going to Eastern Pod, and then go to Eastern Pod, and oh look, a fire-locked Flute, and oh, yay, Flippers, awesome. And then I find the bow from Flippers right away. I'm a little surprised to hear that you did the fake flipper to Hobo. Like, why?
So it's a meta that I'm trying out, right? Because they're like one of my least favorite things that the seed does is gives me like instant Dark World access in Kakariko. Like it's an open seed. You find bombs in the Lost Woods. Oh look, a hammer, a glove, and pearl between Blindside Out and the well, right? So right there you have Dark World access. I have been ignoring that. And I treat it, because like if you think about it, like when you get it in Kakariko, you're like, oh great, this sucks. What do? I have every option available to me. Instead, I try to play it a little bit more conservatively, because if you got like, let's say a glove in Kakariko, then you got a hammer in Ice Rod Cave, and then you got the Moon Pearl in the castle, you wouldn't really think anything about it. Yet, sphere-wise, you're still on the same sphere. But because everything's front-loaded in Kakariko, you look at it like, oh, it's one of those seeds. So I tend to slow play the seeds that give you like immediate Dark World access, and I still try to cover a decent amount of Sphere 1. I skipped Escape. Actually, I skipped Back of Escape for way longer than I needed to. I think I got boots at like 35 minutes, something like that. But yeah, I tend to, even when I get Dark World access in Kakariko, I still try to play the seed a little conservatively as it pertains to Sphere 1.
Interesting. And Koi, obviously, you were not a big fan of the fact that it was basically a hover seed, but disregarding that, how did you feel about the rest of the seed?
It was mostly really gross until I finally had logical access to the mountain. Like it was a logically required double dip of both Pod and Eastern, and I ended up doing those even though they both could have been sequence broken. So that fight just never feels good because there's always that chance somebody did the fake flipper. You know, people like doing fake flipper; it's fun. I didn't expect P-Train to do it personally, but he made a different mistake that ruined his time.
If I may interject, Kohli Power has finished in 3rd place in the restream with beneficial SRL time of 1:59.53, getting that sub 2. Gets good enough for 12th place overall, and going in descending order, skipping over Koi as well, of course. We had Guitar Grill TS9 in 11th place with a time of 1:59.45, and then RD Welsh V in 9th place with a time of 1:53.30. But we will not be getting a interview from Koi, but he will be in the chat. But GG's to Kohli Power nonetheless. Ugh, what a seed! This just did not feel good for any of the runners whatsoever. I kind of feel, I mean, it just feels off because you had the double dips and you had the logical double dips for Eastern and Pod. You had a huge excursion just to find just your godforsaken Quake, and then you had a hookshot fiasco too with the book. Did you have to get out of Turtle Rock? But Eddie M is on phase 4. Oh no, Silver, my one true weakness. Not in position for a torch glitch, does not matter though.
Thanks for the restream, guys.
Thank
See you later.
Yes, thank you, Koi.
More. And that will be the end of Adium's run once he gets those 2 arrows in the Ganon. Good position for, and that's gonna be it. Actually, that was the last shot. But get your GGs in chat for Adium, and all he has to do now is cross the 1x free bridge, and that will be it for this race. And the last of these restream racers to finish up, and that is going to be Adium finishing in 4th place on the restream with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 51 seconds, and that's good enough for 13th place overall.
As he turns on his fast forward to simply cut through the ending cutscene.
I am not honestly surprised at all. Also, hi Koi face. Koi face. Also, hi Koi. He's spinning the wheel. Koi stream, especially now that he's partnered. You should definitely give him a shot. He's awesome.
I don't know if Edium is coming in for an interview, but nonetheless, I would like to thank both of our trackers, White Wolfos and Ricky of Kokiri, for their wonderful job tracking tonight. Always great for our trackers here. It's such a thankless job.
Also, hi Edium. Waiting for the inevitable revival of Edium.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello, Edium. GG.
Oh my god, that seed sucked.
Oh, kidding!
Did it really? I couldn't tell.
Well, yeah. I don't know what to say about it. second last location to Quake. All I had left was left side swamp, and that's about it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Left Side Swamp. I did the same
Yeah.
thing.
What a mess.
Yep.
Yeah, that seed kind of just wanted to hate on everyone, I think.
It was fun for the first hour or so. I mean, I didn't route it all that well. Like, I imagine some people had the bow before they went into pod and eastern, and that would have been nice. But, yeah, after that, I mean, I was feeling behind, but not that far behind. And then it was just like, yeah, let's put an item in the most obvious skip spot possible so that you'll last location it. So, I mean, you either skipped that Quake or you didn't.
Yeah, that seed definitely kind of hurt for its placement of both Quake and Hookshot.
Yeah, I was like I've been practicing hovering, so I was prepared to try to hover. But I'm glad I didn't have to do that at least.
So, besides the wonderful placement of Quake and Hookshot, how did you feel in general about the seed otherwise?
I mean, that just sums up the seed right there. There's not really much else to say. I'm just like kind of exhausted from this seed, and yeah.
Oh, I completely understand that one, yeah. That it was an exhausting seed even to cast because we were all wondering the same thing. Where the heck is Quake?
Did everyone on stream skip Quake?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, when you get the first two items in Ice Palace, you just go straight to the boss. It takes 3 or 4 minutes to clear the rest of the dungeon. Well, maybe not that long, but it takes a while, and you're just gonna gamble that it's not something you need. And sometimes it just doesn't work out.
But we gotta wrap things up here. But we got any final thoughts on the seed? Whole outside of the obvious.
No, that's all. It just happens. Sometimes you just last location something.
Yep. But GG's to you, GG's to featuring, and GG's to everyone those that will to take up the opportunity to get their name out there and join the stream. But coming up, we will have our last daily race before we go offline for SG Live. Once again, that's going to be held in Hurton, Virginia, and you'll be able to watch that on Speed Games 1 and Speed Game 2. The main SG channel will have the tournaments, and the SG2 will have our marathon. And special thanks to everyone for making the stream possible. Any final words, Kiris or Kias?
Caius. And no most I just want to provide a shout out to our 4 runners, P-Train, Chloe Power, Edium, and Koi. All 4 of them are absolutely worth tuning into on their streams to watch practice. Shout out to White Wolfos and to Ricky for doing a wonderful job tracking tonight. And a shout out to my co-commentator here, Professor Renderer.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If you want
anything
more-
else from you?
Go ahead. I guess I'll say here. But if you want more action, we have a Zelda 1 randomizer tournament match going on right now, and we also have the Mario Kart 64 time trial 1 trial league going on at SG2. So be sure to stop by and check those out. But until then, I'm Professor Bunder, and he was Kiss, and we're out of here.
GG's, everybody.